Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. I'm extremely dirty and smelly and tired. It's been a really long weekend. As usual, we got back from camping way later than I thought we were going to. For anybody that doesn't know, let's start at the beginning. For anybody that's new to this show, whether you're listening live right now on one of the streams or you are jumping onto the podcast later or watching one of the streams later, I guess you could do that too. Welcome. This is it's a happy hour. It's a virtual happy hour is basically how it started, and I guess where it still is. We hang out together, we have a drink, we talk about whatever is going on. Sometimes it's industry news, sometimes it's local beer news, sometimes it's just what's happening in life. It's a happy hour. It's like sitting around with your friends and just having a drink. Every Labor Day, my family and we go camping. We spend 4 days just sitting outside and baking in the sun, whatever is left of the sun for the year, eating a bunch of great food, and just hanging out outdoors. And so I have not showered since Friday. That's where I'm at right now. I feel like it at this point. After carrying all of the stuff back inside the house, which is now just piled in the middle of my living room to be sorted through and put away later. Hopefully this week. I don't know. It's going to be a busy week. I'm exhausted too. That's where I'm going with this. I'm just completely beat. But I really did think that I was going to get the show done on time this week. We were, we were kind of wrapping everything up, and we got pretty much I shouldn't say that. We got most of like the big crazy stuff packed, like way earlier than I thought we were going to, and we were on really good track. And then just getting the kids and getting all their stuff together and getting them ready to go took way longer than I anticipated. So by the time we got in the car, I was like, okay, yeah, the show's supposed to start in about 10 minutes, and we are about a half hour away from home, and then we still have to get all this in. I'm doing the math, and I'm like, that just doesn't add up. So that's where we're at now, just the state of exhaustion. But I'm also thirsty. I need a drink. And since, as I mentioned, it's a virtual happy hour, I need a drink. I got myself a good beer mug. I got a Hudipole Shaneling beer mug. Shout out to breweries that, I guess they're still around. Different, but still around. We're going to use that to drink an Oktoberfest beer. I usually kind of avoid drinking too many Oktoberfest beers because I'm afraid that I'm going to run out of certain ones, and then they won't be around depending on how the competition goes. If there's a round where you get to vote somebody back in, I need to have a beer ready to be voted back in. And also, at the very end of the whole Oktoberfest quest, which we'll talk about, I do a big, giant cuvee of every Cincinnati Oktoberfest beer. Luckily for me, I have plenty of this one. I had 9 of them, which no matter how things shape up, 9 should be plenty to get us through the season. I also don't think, and this could still change depending on who catches me off guard with either not releasing one that I thought they were going to, or releasing one that I was not anticipating. But I think the math is going to work out perfect this year, where we have 32 entries, I believe. And that's including that random kind of round that I did with Highwire and West 6th. That's including those, I believe. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But if that happens, if we get that perfect 32 number, we don't have to do the round where somebody gets voted in. It also means we don't get to do the round where somebody gets voted in, which is kind of sad, because there are some great beers that have already been eliminated, including this one. This was today, earlier this afternoon. I did a Actually, it was very early. It was probably 11 a.m. I think when we did this one. I did a showdown between Esoteric and Matry, and if you missed the Instagram story, this one was eliminated, and it makes me sad. Esoteric's Oktoberfest. It's a great beer. So far, they've all been pretty great beers. There's been a couple that had some flaws that I was not a fan of, but the beers themselves were still good beers. So since this one got eliminated, we're gonna just go ahead and drink it again tonight because why not? Because it's a great beer. Almost any of these rounds, if you shuffled things around and they competed against somebody else, almost any of these could win another round. That's how unfair all of this is. This beer went up against Madry, like I said, and Madry just makes a hell of an Oktoberfest. So shout out to Esoteric. It's a great beer. It's a good fest beer. It leans more towards kind of like the floral hoppy side, which is very different than a lot of the other ones out there. Josh said, I had a confusing Oktoberfest from War Pigs. It was called a Märzen Fest beer. Didn't taste like either. Wasn't bad though. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before a little bit, and Madry is probably a great example of it. Madry is not a Märzen, and it's not a fest beer. It is something in between, and there needs to be a good name for that hybrid style. Maybe not, but it definitely is not either a Märzen or a fest beer. It's kind of a Märzen fest beer. This one is definitely, this is definitely fest beer. Let's read what they say about it. It says fest beer style lager. 5.9%, which I've heard conflicting opinions on this. Sorry, big yawn. I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. I told you. I've heard conflicting reports about this. I was always under the impression, and still am under the impression, that a fest beer should be lighter in color, but a little bit heavier in alcohol than a Märzen. That's not what I'm seeing like in the market. The majority of them are, especially the places that have both a Märzen and a fest beer, they're making the fest beer lower in ABV than their Märzen, which I don't think is the way it's supposed to be. This is a little higher on the reason I say that is it's a little higher on the ABV side versus a lot of the Märzens. Not a lot. We were talking like tenths of a percentage point, but and I can't even read this without a light. It says, commonly served during Oktoberfest celebrations in Germany, this fest beer style is light in color, malty, and crushable compared to its Märzen sibling. Perfect for any festival. Prost. Like I said, 5.9%. Crystal hops, and then Pilsner, Vienna, and Munich malt. It's best served in an esoteric Pokal glass. I don't have enough. Yeah, I probably do. I'm not going to serve it in that. I'm going to serve it in this mug. I like to drink my Oktoberfests out of some kind of a mug vessel. Prost. Oh, that hits the spot, especially after all that work unloading all of the camping stuff out of the car. Cars. We actually took 2 cars this time. We had so much crap. So after unloading all of that, that goes down perfect. I don't have a lot of beer news to cover because it's been such a hectic weekend. We are heading into a week that's probably going to be just as hectic as the weekend too. We are headlong into a lot of the planning for Cincy Beer Week. And I say we because I am talking to a lot of different breweries about some of the things that they're wanting to do and trying to help facilitate some of those things for them and to make just a whole bunch of events that are fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Cincy Beer Week is returning this year. Marco says, "What's the longest you have gone without taking a shower?" That's a great question. I mean, probably earlier in my life, probably uh, I don't know, probably a long time as a kid, but like as an adult, um, yeah, probably around this much, around 4 days or so is probably the most. No, I've probably gone 5 or so. Like when my kids were really little, and things were crazy then. Probably, yeah, I guess 5 days is probably the most I could go before it just starts feeling gross to me. Um, Try to shower as often as possible. Just not when camping. I am a firm believer that when camping, it's okay not to shower as long as you're not sleeping in the same sleeping bag as somebody else. It also depends on the weather. If it's really really hot, I tend to shower more when camping versus if it's not as hot like it was this weekend. I mean, it got a little hot a couple times, but for the most part, the weather was great. As long as you stayed in the shade as much as possible, it wasn't too bad. So I can go a little longer. But I feel like I have a layer of dirt right now just all over me. Marcus says I probably hit the 4 or 5 day mark at camp once or twice. Yeah, it's always when I hit those numbers. It's pretty much always when outdoors, when camping. Either there just is not a shower nearby, or I'm just choosing not to go that route. I do always. This is a nice little tip for everybody. I always bring like baby wipes or like those dude wipes or something like that, and you can just give yourself a good bath that way and make it so that you can get some of the grime off. But you can't get it all. That's for sure. Although I'm not smelling myself, which is good. I completely lost track of what I was saying. Margo says, once you shower at camp, then you remember how good the shower is, and then you shower more at camp. Yes. However, I hate like when you shower when you're camping, and then you go back out into the dirty camping world, and you're like, man, I just took a shower. I don't want to be in all this dirt anymore. Whereas before, it was all fine because you were dirty and you and the dirt were one. Now that you're clean, you don't want to be one with the dirt. I don't have a ton of beer news this week because it's been so crazy. But Cincy Beer Week. For anybody that doesn't know, we are bringing back Cincy Beer Week. We are trying to create a very very grassroots effort is what I'll call it, which means that there's not a lot of people that are facilitating this. It is really kind of just me for this first year, and maybe subsequent years for a while. Just trying to make sure that this thing develops, not necessarily with my personality or what I need it to be or want it to be. But I really want this to be a week that showcases and kind of has the personality of all of the places that want to be a part of it. I don't want somebody to be involved if they don't really want to be involved. And I don't want somebody to feel like they're forced to make some kind of a goofy event or something. I want people to make good events that mean something to them, that they think reflects what they want Beer Week to be. And then, over time, Beer Week can develop its own real kind of genuine personality. And I think the only way to do that is to kind of start it very small and very slow. And so that's kind of where we're at with it this year. But you should start seeing... I don't have them on my doorstep yet, but I believe that they are supposed to show up sometime this week. You'll start seeing posters around town very soon that kind of start advertising Beer Week. So stay tuned for that. And if you see them, point them out to people and say, hey, did you see that? Have you heard about this thing? Man, it's going to be cool. Oh, Beer Week, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, tell people that. That's your job as the people that support this show and other things that I do. I also need you to support Beer Week because it's a much bigger thing than any of these goofy shows that I do or videos that I make or stuff like that. I think it's important, but what do I know? I'm just a lawn ornament. um, I did. If you have been following along with some of the stuff that I've been doing over on the blog, I do have a beer blog. For anybody that doesn't know that, I think that's kind of the hub of everything is the beer blog. Everything radiates out of that, and I wrote an article last week that then my phone subsequently wouldn't stop blowing up all weekend from people both ends that said that I was irresponsible for not being harder on some of the places I was writing about, and then other places telling me that I shouldn't have said anything, and then other places that were kind of nasty about it. So it yeah, it's been interesting. There are a lot of different sides. Man, maybe there's probably going to, well, not probably, there will be a follow-up post in the coming weeks about everything that I wrote about. But maybe I'll go into some of the other stuff that I really want to talk about it at that time, because it goes into a couple different realms. Some of it of why people get mad at some of the things they do, why people lash out about certain topics versus other ones. I don't. We'll talk about it. We'll definitely have some interesting content coming out in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, just if you like your local tap room that you go to, support them. That's kind of the truth all the time, especially over the last couple of years, as we've seen places close. Just support the places you love, because not all of them are always going to be around, and we've definitely seen that. But I've heard I always hear lots of interesting rumors about some of our local breweries, and recently I've started hearing some about one of the breweries that I would not have thought was at risk of closing. And I've started to hear from a couple different sources that things are not great there, which the more I think about it, it does make sense. But at the end of the day, support the places you like, and when even if you think they're not struggling, go support them. I hate to beat around the bush about stuff, but I have one kind of vlog that I've been working on for, I don't know, 2 months or something that hopefully I'll get done. We'll see. Sometimes I'll record something like that, and then by the time it gets close to being done, I'll kind of go and watch it back, and I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't. It's not timely anymore. It doesn't feel right to me. It just feels like it's old at this point, and so I kind of, not that I get bored with it, but I just kind of scrap it and move on to the next thing that I think is better and more relevant. This one that I'm working on is at risk of that. I'm going to say that, but I do have another video that will hopefully come together a lot faster. It's a Halloween themed video, not the one that I've been wanting to do forever, which I'm still going to work on, that involves ghosts, but I guess this one does kind of technically involve ghosts too, just not real ones. But anyways, again, hate to just beat around the bush. I don't want to give it away. It'll be a surprise, but it's gonna be fun, and it does involve drinking. It involves drinking and ghosts and secret bars. We'll put it that way. It will hopefully be good. I have, as far as Oktoberfest Quest goes, we should probably talk a little bit about where we're at there. Which, let me pull up my list here, if I can Pull it up. All right, we had a couple more that I did not write on here. Yep. That puts us 1, 2, 3, 4. We've done 6 showdowns so far, out of how many? Dun dun dun. I don't know. Oh, there it is. We need that. Oh, okay. Well, I just said it earlier. I said 32. So out of 16, we've done 6. So we're not even halfway in the first round. Marcus says, give us the rundown for the quest so far. So far, we had Sonder versus Listerman, and Sonder took that one. We had Alexandria, their Alexandria Fest, which is new to Cairns this year, took on Taft's. Taft's was a hazy Oktoberfest, so right off the bat, it was an easy win for Alexandria. Great beer, though. Third Eye, the Third Eye's Meritzen, which just debuted this year, versus Grainworks. Third Eye was also surprisingly hazy, although I did kind of hear the story behind that of why, and not that it's not their fault, but it was not on purpose, and they are aware. So obviously Grainworks won that one. We had our what I call the invasive species bracket, which maybe next year will be its own separate bracket, and then I don't know, that might be too difficult. But that was Highwire versus West Sixth, two of the invasive species that I liked the most last year competed against each other, and only one kind of enters the real bracket this year, and that was Highwire. And then this weekend we had Esoteric versus Madtree. Oh my goodness! And as I mentioned, Madtree won that one, and then we had Rheingeist versus who did Rheingeist? Who did Rheingeist beat today? Who watched the video and can remind me? I have to go through my list and it'll jump out at me. It was Rheingeist versus Narrow Path. And Narrow Path won that one. And then I still need to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 more that I still need to get. So that should mean that there's 4 more showdowns sitting here in a fridge waiting to happen. Yeah, we'll see. We might get another one this week. Actually, we will likely get another one this week because I have to stay on schedule to make sure that everything is happening when it needs to. There's nothing worse than finally getting through round 1 and realizing you have 8 days to roll through every other round. I like to spread it out and keep myself interested and excited about Oktoberfest. I don't like to drown myself in it one week. Anyways, we'll wrap this up and keep it short because I'm going to go try to take a shower, try to prep for a busy work week. I have to charge 400 different batteries tonight, and I don't know if I have enough chargers. So we might have to do some shifts. First world problems, I guess, if you don't have enough chargers to charge your batteries. Anyways, sorry, guys. I go back and forth every time we have a camping trip like this of if it makes more sense to do the show late or to postpone it for a day or skip it for a week. And I figured this week it made more sense just to do it a little bit late and shorten it up a little bit just to kind of kick off the week. I feel weird starting a work week without doing a weekly pint on Monday. I feel like it just doesn't feel right. So I had to do it. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys being here. I love this show, and I love the idea of sitting down and just having a beer with people on a Monday night. I think it's fun, and so I just want you guys to know that I do appreciate you being here. See everybody soon. Hopefully, everybody is getting Beer Week events on their calendar. The actual official Beer Week calendar at cincybeerweek.com will be filling out very soon. In fact, that's one of the things on my list tomorrow is add, I think, like 4 more confirmed events. It might even be more than that. At least 4 more confirmed events onto that calendar. So stay tuned for that. Some good stuff. And we'll see you soon one way or another. Get out there and drink something good and drink something local. Thank you guys very much. We will see you soon. Cheers, everybody. The joke of this whole Oktoberfest Quest thing is that all of these beers are so freaking good. It's any one of these is the best Oktoberfest beer, including this Esoteric. It's incredible. I hate that they got eliminated, but it happens.